5 figures, Alicia. $10,000. Do you know what this means? The Audi dealership is open until 9 p.m. I'm putting $10,000 down on an A5 tonight. I earned this.
If you drive to that dealership tonight, you will be broke for the rest of your life.
Excuse me? I just spent a year eating off-brand ramen and saying no to every Vegas trip to hit this milestone. I am the Wolf of Wall Street right now.
You're not the Wolf of Wall Street, Nick. You're a guy standing on the edge of a financial cliff, about to swan dive into a canyon of debt. What you do with this exact $10,000 will determine whether you build actual wealth or stay stuck in the rat race forever.
Welcome back to Nick and Alicia Invests, the channel where I ask the questions you're all thinking and Alicia destroys my dreams with math.
I don't destroy dreams, Nick. I build realities. Today, we are talking about a massive trap. People constantly search for how to save $10,000, but almost no one tells you what happens after you hit that goal.
Right, because once you hit it, you celebrate, you treat yourself.
And that's exactly why most people stay broke. If you finally hit your first big savings goal and you're wondering what to do with $10K, hit that subscribe button right now. Because today, Nick and Alicia are going to show you exactly how to turn that $10,000 into a lifetime of financial freedom.
All right, Buzzkill, let's get into it. I've got $10,000 sitting in my checking account right now. It feels amazing. I log into my banking app just to stare at it. Why are you telling me this is a bad thing?
Because your brain is lying to you. Look, you should be proud. The reality of personal finance in this country is bleak. Over 40% of Americans cannot cover a $1,000 emergency without going into debt. So having $10,000 puts you ahead of nearly half the population.
Exactly. I am the top 50%. Bring on the Audi.
Stop. Listen to me carefully. $10,000 is a lot of money to have, but it is completely insignificant when it comes to actual financial security. It's not wealth. It's barely enough to cover a few months of rent and groceries if you lost your job. $10,000 is not the finish line, Nick. It is the foundation.
Okay, but I've got the foundation. It's right there in my checking account, safe and sound.
And that is the deadliest mistake in money management. Keeping your first big milestone in your checking account is financial sabotage.
How? It's my money. I know it's there. I'm just letting it chill.
Because of a psychological trap called lifestyle creep. Let me guess what your spending habits have looked like over the last 3 weeks since you hit the $10,000 mark. Have you ordered Uber Eats a little more often?
Maybe twice, but I deserved it.
Have you bought new clothes, upgraded your phone, bought a round of drinks for your friends because, hey, you're the guy with 10 grand in the bank?
Okay, I bought a jacket, and yeah, I bought drinks on Friday, but nothing crazy. I'm not blowing thousands of dollars.
You don't have to blow thousands to destroy your net worth. This is how lifestyle creep operates. When you see a 5-figure number in the exact same account you use to buy toilet paper and groceries, your brain doesn't separate it. It all feels like spending money. You start making slightly elevated purchases. It seems justified.
It's just a few extra bucks here and there.
Until you look at your checking account 2 months from now, and that $10,000 is suddenly $8,500. Then it's $7,800. You tell yourself you'll build it back up next month with better budgeting, but you never do. You've adjusted to a higher standard of living.
Okay, but even if it drops to $7,000, I still have 7 grand. That's still good.
Until life happens. The universe has a funny way of testing your financial literacy. Your car needs a $2,000 transmission repair. Your dog eats a sock and needs surgery. Suddenly, your $7,000 drops to $3,000.
Ouch. Yeah, that would actually crush my soul.
Exactly. You grinded for a year, learning how to save $10,000, and in 3 months of careless spending and one bad Tuesday, it's entirely wiped out. You feel completely demoralized. You give up on your debt-free journey. You stop caring about your net worth, and you go back to living paycheck to paycheck. This is the cycle that keeps people poor forever.
Okay, I'm officially terrified. So if I can't leave it in checking and I can't buy the Audi, what to do with $10,000? Do I hide it under my mattress?
You have to split it up immediately. The moment you hit $10,000, you need to assign that money different jobs in different places. Not next week, today.
Split it up? Like half checking, half savings?
No. First, you take $3,000 to $5,000 and you move it to a completely separate high-yield savings account. This is your emergency fund.
High-yield savings account? Why can't I just use the savings account attached to my regular bank? It's easier. I just swipe on the app.
Because it's too easy, Nick. If it's attached to your checking account, you will transfer money over the second you see a pair of sneakers on sale. An emergency fund needs friction. It needs to be at a completely different bank, preferably an online one, where it takes 24 to 48 hours to transfer the money back to your checking.
So you're making it purposely annoying for me to access my own money?
I am protecting you from yourself. This creates a massive psychological shift in your money mindset. If you have $2,000 in checking and $3,000 in a separate emergency fund, your brain panics slightly. It adjusts to living strictly on the $2,000. You make sharper decisions. You don't casually dip into your savings for a vacation emergency.
Wait, a vacation isn't an emergency? What if my friends are going to Tulum and I have FOMO?
Nick, FOMO is not a financial emergency. An emergency fund is for three things. You lose your job, you have a medical crisis, or your primary transportation to work explodes. That's it.
Fine, so I take $5,000 and put it in a high-yield savings account. What about the other $5,000? Should I put the whole $10,000 in the emergency fund just to be super safe?
This is where we talk about saving versus investing. A lot of people put all $10,000 into a savings account and pat themselves on the back. And yes, having $10K and a high-yield savings account is better than buying an Audi you can't afford. But it is not optimal for wealth building.
Why not? It's safe. I don't lose anything.
You are losing something. You are losing purchasing power to inflation. Money sitting in a savings account is playing defense. You're protecting what you have, but you are not growing it. The wealthy don't just play defense, they play offense.
Offense? Okay, Coach Alicia, what's the play?
The play is beginner investing. After you secure that $3,000 to $5,000 emergency fund, the remaining $5,000 to $7,000 needs to start working for you. It needs to generate returns. You need to open a Roth IRA or a brokerage account.
Whoa, you just threw a bunch of Wall Street jargon. When Nick invests, he usually just buys whatever cryptocurrency his cousin's barber recommends on TikTok.
Which is exactly why Nick is currently broke. We are not gambling. We are not picking individual stocks because you saw a Reddit thread. We are looking at long-term investing. Have you ever heard of index funds or ETFs?
I mean, I've heard the words. Sounds like something old guys in suits talk about at country clubs. Is an ETF like an NFT? Because I lost $600 on a picture of a monkey last year.
No, Nick, an ETF is not a monkey JPEG. Let's break down investing for beginners. An index fund, or ETF, exchange-traded fund, is essentially a basket that holds hundreds or thousands of different stocks. Instead of betting all your money on one company, like Apple or Tesla, you buy a tiny slice of the entire stock market.
So if one company goes bankrupt, I don't lose all my money.
Exactly. You are betting on the American economy as a whole. It's boring, it's simple, and it is the absolute best strategy for financial independence. You buy broad market index funds, and then you do the hardest thing in the world.
What's that?
You do nothing. You don't touch it, you let it sit there for years, ideally decades, and let compound interest do the heavy lifting.
Decades? Alicia, I want to be rich now. What's the point of investing $5,000 if I have to wait 20 years to enjoy it?
Let me show you the math of compound interest. This is the secret to passive income. Let's say you take $5,000 and invest it in an index fund tracking the S&P 500, which historically averages about a 7 to 10% annual return after inflation. If you put that $5,000 in and never add another dime, in 10 years at an 8% return, it grows to over $10,000. In 20 years, it's over $23,000. In 30 years, it's over $50,000. And you did zero work for that extra $45,000. Your money made money for you.
So my money just clones itself?
That's compound interest. Your interest earns interest. But this is the critical part about personal finance that people miss. Saving $10,000 once is meaningless if you stop there. The people who actually achieve financial freedom use that first $10,000 as a launchpad to build an automated system.
An automated system? Sounds like the Terminator, but for money.
It's your paycheck routine. Motivation is garbage, Nick. Motivation is what gets you to save that first $10,000. Motivation gets you hyped up to watch a YouTube video about money management. But motivation disappears the minute your friends invite you on a ski trip you can't afford.
Honestly, true. I'm highly easily influenced by peer pressure and snowboarding.
Which is why you need systems. A system operates when your motivation fails. Once your $5,000 is invested and your $5,000 is in an emergency fund, you set up automatic transfers. Every single time you get paid, before you even see the money, $100 automatically goes to your high-yield savings account to build that emergency fund up to a full 6 months of expenses. And another $200 automatically goes into your brokerage account to buy more index funds.
So the money leaves my checking account before I can even think about spending it?
Exactly. You live on whatever is left. That is the tree secret to wealth building. You pay your future self first.
Okay, I'm tracking with you. I get the saving versus investing thing. I get the automated paycheck routine. But let's circle back to my original plan for a second. The Audi.
Oh, Nick.
Hear me out. What if I use the $10,000 as a down payment? Not for an Audi. Let's be responsible. Let's say I use it as a down payment for a house or a modest, reliable used car. Isn't real estate a good investment?
Real estate can be a great investment, but using your entire first $10,000 as a down payment is a massive mistake. Almost everyone who hits $10K for the first time gets the itch to buy something big. A car, a house, a business venture.
Right, because society tells us that owning a home or having a nice car equals success. I want to look successful, Alicia.
Looking successful and being wealthy are two very different things. Let's say you use that $10,000 to put a down payment on a house or a car. You are now back to zero in savings. Zero.
But I have a house.
A house that comes with a mortgage, property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. What happens when the HVAC system breaks 2 months after you move in and it costs $4,000 to fix? You have no emergency fund. You are at zero. So what do?
I put it on a credit card?
Bingo! Now you're paying 24% interest on a credit card debt, stressing every night because you have a mortgage you can barely afford and zero cash cushion. You've jumped from having $10,000 of safety to being completely house poor. You set yourself up for absolute financial panic.
Man, you really know how to paint a terrifying picture.
I've seen it 100 times. People think $10,000 is the finish line. Wealthy people know it's just step one. People who actually build wealth keep building. They hit 10K, then they automate their systems and hit 20K, then 30K. When they finally buy a house, they put 20% down and they still have a massive emergency fund left over. They buy from a position of strength, not desperation.
It just requires so much patience.
That is the defining difference between the rich and the poor, Nick. Poor people see $10,000 and think, what can I buy right now? Wealthy people see $10,000 and think, what can this become in 10 years if I am patient?
Okay, paradigm shifted. My mind is officially blown. But earlier you said something about a Roth IRA versus a brokerage account. If I'm doing this beginner investing thing, where exactly do I put the money? Does it matter?
It matters enormously because of one word: taxes.
Oh, don't remind me. I hate taxes.
We all do, which is why you need a Roth IRA. If you open a standard taxable brokerage account, you're going to pay capital gains taxes on the money your investments make. But a Roth IRA is a retirement account with a legal superpower.
A financial superpower? I'm listening.
With a Roth IRA, you contribute money that you've already paid income taxes on. But here is the magic trick. Once the money is inside that account, it grows completely tax-free. And when you withdraw it in retirement, you pay zero taxes on the growth.
Wait, zero? Are you sure that's legal?
It's 100% legal. Let's go back to our compound interest example. If you invest that $5,000 and it grows to $50,000 over 30 years, in a normal brokerage account, you might owe thousands of dollars in capital gains on that $45,000 gain. In a Roth IRA, you keep every single penny. It could save you tens of thousands of dollars over your lifetime.
Wait, that's insane. Why doesn't everyone do this?
Because financial literacy isn't taught in schools. People are taught how to memorize the periodic table, not how to build a debt-free journey or optimize their money mindset. The government sets a contribution limit for Roth IRAs, usually around $6,500 to $7,000 a year, depending on the year. So when you hit your first $10K, you can max out a Roth IRA for the year and still have your emergency fund left over.
Alicia, I'm not gonna lie, this all makes incredible logical sense, but I still have this knot in my stomach.
Talk to me. What's the fear?
I worked so hard to get this money. Every time my friends went out, I stayed home. I drove an ugly beater car. I packed my lunches. To take half of that money and lock it away in a Roth IRA where I can't touch it until I'm old, what if I need it? What if I regret it?
That fear is totally normal. It's the biggest psychological hurdle in personal finance. But let me clear something up. First, if you set up your $5,000 emergency fund in a high-yield savings account properly, you'll be able to handle 95% of life's curveballs without ever needing to touch your investments.
But what if it's a massive emergency, like a Godzilla attack level emergency?
If Godzilla attacks, you can actually withdraw the contributions, the money you put in, from a Roth IRA without penalty. You can't withdraw the earnings without a penalty until retirement age, but your original money isn't locked in a titanium vault.
Oh, seriously? I thought it was gone forever.
No, but the point is, by putting it into an investment account, you create enough mental and logistical friction that you won't withdraw it just because you want a new MacBook. The way Alicia invests is methodical. You protect the money from your own worst impulses.
So, compare that to how Nick invests, which is leaving it in checking, getting bored, and buying an Audi on financing.
Exactly. Look, I'm going to be brutally honest with our viewers right now. Most people watching this video won't do any of this.
Hey, don't insult our subscribers. They're smart.
They are smart, but human nature is stubborn. Most people will watch this, agree with the logic, feel highly motivated for exactly 48 hours, and then do exactly what they've always done. They'll keep their $10,000 in their checking account, they'll succumb to lifestyle creep, they'll have one minor emergency, and a year from now, they'll be back to zero, wondering why they can never get ahead.
That's painfully realistic. I've done that exact loop 3 times in my 20s.
But if you're one of the rare people who actually takes action today, if you hit 10K and immediately split it, if you open that high-yield savings account for your emergency fund, and you open a Roth IRA for your long-term investing, if you buy broad market ETFs and set up an automated paycheck routine, your entire financial trajectory changes today.
It's like branching timelines in a sci-fi movie.
Precisely. You're choosing your timeline right now. In one timeline, $10,000 is the most money you'll ever see, and it slips through your fingers. In the other timeline, $10,000 is just the seed that grows into a massive tree of passive income, a high net worth, and absolute financial independence.
Wow, I don't even want the Audi anymore. I want the tree. I want the index funds.
That's the money mindset we're looking for. The choice is yours, Nick, and the choice belongs to everyone watching. Handle it wrong, spend it, keep it accessible, and 10 years from now, you'll still be struggling to figure out how to save $10,000. Handle it right, invest it, automate it, and 10 years from now, you'll look back at this exact moment as the day you stopped being broke.
Wow, guys, I don't know about you, but my mind is officially rewired. We just covered the ultimate playbook on what to do with 10K. If you want to see the difference between Nick invests and Alicia invests, you just witnessed it. She brings the math, I bring the bad ideas, so you don't have to.
We broke down why leaving cash in checking destroys your wealth, how to build a real emergency fund, why you need to understand saving versus investing, and exactly how to start investing for beginners using simple index funds.
If this video saved you from buying a car you can't afford, or if Nick and Alicia finally convinced you to open that Roth IRA, do us a massive favor. Destroy that like button. It helps the YouTube algorithm push this financial literacy to more people who need it.
And make sure you subscribe to Nick and Alicia Invests. In our next video, we're going to dive deep into exactly how to optimize your budgeting so you can actually find that first $10,000 to save. You won't want to miss it.
Leave a comment below. What is the first thing you're going to do when you hit your next savings milestone? Let us know. Until next time, stay disciplined, ignore the Audi dealership, and let your money do the hard work for you.
See you in the next one.